Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and welcome back to Who'd Win and Why. And this time we've got Deathstroke from DC going up against Taskmaster from Marvel. Now, these two characters are extremely intelligent, they both have insane physical capabilities, and they both have a knack for predicting opponents' moves. But it's time for me to decide who I think would win in a one-on-one battle to the death between these two menacing martial artists. So, who'd win and why? Let's find out! So first we're going to talk about Deathstroke. Now obviously, as we all know, Deathstroke gained his abilities through an anti-truth serum that went wrong, and after this failed experiment, he gained enhanced strength, speed, and stamina. Now it is worth noting that his abilities are technically not quite superhuman, but they're still past the point of what a peak physical condition athlete's abilities would be at, so that's still pretty dang impressive. He's strong enough to kick down a reinforced steel door, dodge bullets from near point-blank range, and he can even fight for days on end if he really needs to. However, the best of his physical traits, without a doubt, is his healing factor, which can regenerate tissue from all kinds of wounds. Yes, the more fatal the wound, the more time it will take to heal, and he can't heal from everything, but as far as healing factors go, it is still pretty commendable. He was once impaled completely through the chest, and it did nothing to him but slow him down. The only thing that rivals Deathstroke's insane physical capabilities is his brilliant mind. Deathstroke can process information 9 times more efficiently than a regular person, which is one of the biggest reasons why his reaction speed is that much better than the reaction speed of even the best athletes on the planet. He has a photographic memory, has been said to be the best tactician in his universe, and with prep time he can even take down the entire freaking Justice League. Deathstroke is also an amazing combatant, and has mastered many different fighting styles over the course of his training. Just to name a few, he's mastered boxing, ninjutsu, jujitsu, karate, etc, etc. And while he hasn't mastered as many fighting styles as the Dark Knight himself, who's mastered every single fighting style on the planet, he's still been able to beat Batman on numerous occasions by outmaneuvering him. So obviously, if he's able to do that, he's got some real skill under his belt. Deathstroke also carries around a lot of weapons, and is virtually a master of any weapon he can get his hands on. Just to name a few, he has his Prometheum sword, a military pistol, a shotgun, 2 machine guns, an energy lance, a sniper rifle, EMPs, thermal detonators, and even more. And when it comes to his armor is made up of many different components, including Kevlar, nth metal, which is a Thanagarian metal, which is stronger and lighter than titanium, and even Promethium, an extremely durable metal that is actually self-regenerative. So he's got a lot of defense no matter how you slice it. Over the years, Deathstroke has made quite a reputation for himself and has a crap ton of fighting experience. He's fought many different armed guards at once, and other masters of combat, including Deadshot, Ra's al Ghul, Nightwing, and as I said before, Batman. He's also been able to take down certain superpowered beings, but sometimes that's required quite a lot of prep time to do. It's also worth noting that Deathstroke has been shown to get extremely violent and almost completely lose control when he's been severely injured. Does this mean that he becomes more dangerous? Technically yes, but really what it means is that he loses a lot of his tactical abilities, and someone extremely smart could take advantage of that if they're able to damage him that much. Even with that, however, Deathstroke has made quite a name for himself. He is hands down one of the most well-rounded villains in all of the DC universe, and he has definitely more than earned his title of the Terminator. Alright, so now it's time to move over to Taskmaster. So Taskmaster is essentially an Olympic-level athlete and has pushed himself to the absolute peak of strength and stamina. However, where he really shines is his speed. Not only does he have insane reflexes and can even catch bullets, but he's also been shown that he can replicate moves that he sees at double the speed when he plays them back at double speed. However, he can only do this for so long as it takes a huge toll on his stamina. Taskmaster is also ridiculously smart on the battlefield and is a master strategist and tactician. He's shown time and time again that he can study his opponents very well, and he's shown that he can defeat many different opponents the first time he fights them with no preparation time at all. And the big reason for that is because of his photographic memory and reflexes. Taskmaster has the uncanny ability to be able to duplicate virtually any physical activity after seeing it only once, and he can use this to copy his opponent's fighting styles and use it against them, and he also uses this to try to predict his opponent's next moves. However, it is explicitly stated that he cannot copy physical powers, and he cannot do anything that's outside of his own physical capabilities, so there is limits to how much he can do. Taskmaster has copied the fighting styles of basically the best in the Marvel Universe, and while the list can just go on and on and on, some of the people that he's copied include Captain America, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Daredevil, Iron Fist, Black Panther, Black Knight, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Elektra, and the list just keeps going on and on. So he has a lot of different fighting styles under his belt, and he he actually remembers every single one of them. The reason why Taskmaster suffers from amnesia and can't remember much about his previous civilian life is because he actually needs to push out all of those memories in order to have enough room to store all of his fighting styles that he's copied, which I find pretty interesting. He's also been able to copy certain skills, such as marksmanship and archery from characters like Hawkeye, and swordsmanship from characters like Swordsman and Silver Samurai. Taskmaster also carries around a lot of weapons, and some of them are for the purpose of trying to actually recreate the abilities of other characters. For example, he carries around wall-crawling gloves and even energy webbing. He also carries around a katana, a shield made of steel, 2 45 pistols, shurikens, a billy club, and even a bow and trick arrows, which can consist of acid arrows, freeze arrows, electric shock arrows, even pim particle arrows, etc, etc. As you can probably tell by now, Taskmaster doesn't seem to have that many exploitable weaknesses. However, it is worth noting that there are certain fighting styles he's encountered that he either can't or won't copy, such as Deadpool's fighting style and Moon Knight's fighting style. It's also worth noting that his classic suit, which we will be using in this video, doesn't seem to have that much substantial armor, and his main defense is his steel shield that he carries around with him. However, even with Taskmaster's limited flaws, he should definitely not be underestimated. Taskmaster has fought the best, copied the best, and in turn become one of the best fighters in the entirety of the Marvel Universe. Alright, so now that I've gone over both of these fighters, it's time for me to finally say who I think would actually win in a battle between these two characters. And I gotta say, this is probably one of the hardest fights I've ever had to decide in the entirety of Who Would Win and Why, if not the hardest fight. There were times where I was flipping back and forth constantly, and there were times I was sure I was gonna say Deathstroke was gonna win, and there were times where I was sure I was gonna say the Taskmaster was gonna win, and it's even to the point where after I post this video, my answer may even change within a couple days. Like, that's how close this fight is. I'm honestly really torn. However, this is Who Would Win and Why, and I have to pick an answer. And if I really had to pick between these two characters, which is still really hard, after looking at this for hours and hours on end, I honestly think that Deathstroke would be the winner of this fight more often than not. And if you think that Taskmaster will win this fight, I definitely understand. Like, he is an extremely tough combatant, and I could definitely see him winning almost as many times as I could see Deathstroke winning. But like I said, if I have to pick, I would go with Deathstroke, and here's my reasoning why. One of the big things we have to remember is that Deathstroke is actually a super soldier, and that means that his physical capabilities are past the point of a peak physical condition human. And that's exactly what Taskmaster is. Taskmaster's physical capabilities are impressive when compared to regular humans, but Deathstroke is a super soldier, and that means that his physical capabilities are just beyond that. He was given a serum that essentially made his physical capabilities beyond what a human should be able to do at any point, even if they're at the peak physical condition level. And yes, Taskmaster has fought characters that are above him in terms of strength and speed, but in this kind of fight where they have to fight until one of them dies in a one-on-one battle to the death, Deathstroke is still going to be hitting harder, hitting faster, and able to take in more damage. And all of that will eventually wear Taskmaster down over time. To be fair to Taskmaster, however, he actually doesn't fall that far behind Deathstroke in terms of speed, as his speed is pretty ridiculous. He's able to catch bullets and for very short amounts of time replicate moves at double the speed if he sees them played at double speed. However, Deathstroke is still naturally faster, and his brain still processes information 9 times more efficiently than a regular human's, so he still has the natural speed advantage regardless. Now let's talk about their fighting ability. Yes, both of these characters have had a lot of experience trying to predict their opponent's moves and succeeding, but admittedly this is the category where Deathstroke is at the biggest disadvantage. Taskmaster has copied the fighting abilities of so many different characters in the Marvel Universe, and he remembers every single one of them. And it's also worth knowing that he can copy Deathstroke's own fighting technique and use it against him. And this is the biggest reason why I was thinking that Taskmaster could win this fight, or why I was going to go with him originally, just because he's that much better at fighting than Deathstroke is. However, one thing we shouldn't forget is Deathstroke's amazing reputation and experience. Deathstroke has taken on so many different amazing fighters in the DC Universe, and he's even been able to take down superpowered beings before. Yes, he has needed prep time for some of his more impressive accomplishments, but what this really shows is that Deathstroke has been able to survive anything and everything, and that includes fighters who are superior to him. He's been able to take them down before. And some of you may disagree with me on this, but I feel like when it comes to fighting skill, there gets to a point where you become so skilled that even if you are fighting someone who's a better fighter than you are not completely outclassed. You can still hold your own. Like, for crying out loud, Deathstroke has beaten Batman before, sometimes without prep time, and Batman is one of the most versatile fighters in all of fiction. He's mastered so many more fighting styles than Deathstroke. He's mastered all of them, and yet Deathstroke has been able to take him down before. And he's been able to take down so many more amazing fighters in the DC universe as well. Again, his reputation is just that great. So I feel at very least he'd be able to hold his own against Taskmaster, especially when you factor in that Deathstroke is still stronger, faster, and has better stamina. Another big thing that Taskmaster has going for him is that he could pick up on Deathstroke's own fighting style, and he could use that against him. And yes, that would definitely catch Deathstroke off guard. However, Deathstroke is also amazing at predicting his opponent's moves using his photographic memory, just like Taskmaster. And he could definitely pick up on Taskmaster's technique. And regardless of all that, even if they're doing the exact same moves to each other, Deathstroke is still the one that's hitting harder, that's hitting faster, and that's taking more of the damage in. So no matter what, even if Taskmaster does try to copy Deathstroke, he's not going to be able to copy that strength, speed, and stamina, and Deathstroke is still going to be the better fighter, at least when it comes to the physical side of things. However, with that all being said, the biggest reason why I think that Deathstroke would beat Taskmaster more often than not is because of his far superior defense. Not only does Deathstroke have an impressive healing factor that allows him to keep going even after being impaled, but he also wears armor that is tougher than titanium and that actually self-regenerates even if Taskmaster is able to penetrate through it. So no matter how you slice it, Deathstroke has defense and armor that is top-notch on top of top-notch, and his stamina allows him to fight for days on end. When it comes to Taskmaster, however, it's a pretty different story. Not only does Taskmaster have no sort of accelerated healing or enhanced stamina, but he also just doesn't wear virtually any armor at all in his classic costume, and this is to allow for greater speed, for more flexibility. It allows him to copy his opponent's moves better. And while that does sound smart on the surface, it really means that the only sort of defensive thing he has with him is his steel shield, which could be easily worked around by someone as skilled as Deathstroke. And even if Taskmaster did wear some sort of light armor in his costume, it definitely would not be to the same defensive extent as Deathstroke. And really, when it comes down to it, they may both be tough, but one character is going to outlast the other in a fight like this, and Deathstroke is going to be the one doing the outlasting. And because of the difference in terms of durability and stamina, it also alters the effectiveness of their weaponry, or their arsenals. Yes, both of these characters are extremely versatile, and they carry way more weapons than they should be able to carry, but Deathstroke's arsenal is more traditional and is arguably more deadly. And while Taskmaster is fast enough to catch bullets, he still doesn't wear that much armor, or light armor at very best. And that means that one well-placed bullet from Deathstroke would be able to put Taskmaster down for good. However, the majority of Taskmaster's arsenal wouldn't be able to do that much to Deathstroke because of his healing factor and his extremely durable and self-regenerative armor. And the stuff that would be able to pose a threat to him, it would be easily avoidable by Deathstroke considering that he's fast enough to dodge bullets. He's able to react 9 times quicker than a normal person, so really Taskmaster's arsenal wouldn't be able to do that much to him at all, in my opinion. Overall, both of these combatants are extremely well-rounded characters, and they're both ridiculously intelligent, but when it comes down to it, both of them may be great fighters, but only one of them is nearly superhuman. Deathstroke has the superior physical abilities and experience to compensate for Taskmaster's better fighting ability, and his combination of his healing factor and his self-regenerative durable armor far exceeds Taskmaster's own defenses. While Taskmaster may be the better man in terms of hand-to-hand, I feel that Deathstroke's strength, speed, stamina, enhanced brain, healing factor, equipment, and experience would be just enough to pull through in this ridiculously close bout. So, in my opinion, the winner is Deathstroke. So guys, thank you all so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. My god, this fight took much more out of me than I thought it would. It took a really long time going back and forth and trying to come up with some sort of concrete reasoning and, some sort of reasoning that I really felt comfortable with and confident in. But if you think that Taskmaster will win this fight, please tell me down in the comments below because I totally understand. And like I said, my opinion may change very soon because this fight is ridiculously close. It's honestly stupid. But regardless, if you enjoyed this video, please give this video a huge like. I always appreciate the likes. Comment down what you thought of it, what you thought of the video, what you thought of the fight, anything like that. Also comment down suggestions for future Who'd Win Why episodes. And if you guys could subscribe to my channel, that'd be so great. That would really help my channel out. But no matter what you do on this channel, your view is plenty of contribution. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And next time on Who'd Win Why, we've got Dante going up against Raiden. See you all then.